So welcome to Nubian Queen Talk. I am your host, Queen Yolanda Mitchell. I am the CEO and founder of Nubian Queen magazine, and I would like to welcome you on our interview for the magazine. And I'm so appreciative, Miss Jenelle, to have you on this panel with us for this interview. I'm super excited about it. I want to tell you, thank you for saying yes to be a part of this wonderful thing we're doing with the magazine, and for you to be able to get on. So of course, I want to have you on there as often as I can inside of the magazine. And I want to tell you, thank you for saying yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so grateful. I am so honored I'm just so humbled. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm super excited about it. I was reading your bio regarding your book. I gotta read this. I gotta be transparent about this thing, because you are going to be transparent, and this book had so much in it. Just your bio alone was just I don't know, I can't even explain it. When I was reading it, I said, oh my God, we know we got us a queen, a powerful, anointed woman of God that have been through that type of crushing and beating and humiliation and embarrassment, all that hurt and pain and disappointment that you experienced. I know you are just the God in you is just so awesome and so big. I know you are definitely anointed. I haven't gotten your book yet, but I'm going to get this book. So I'm going to read off a little bit of your bio here. So hold on one second. So you're from Toronto, and you're committed to a deceitful liar. It has already been released in 2021, and it is a non-fictional book by first-time author Jenelle Simpson. Simpson is a senior law clerk, paralegal, motivational speaker, and life coach in Toronto. Committed to a deceitful liar is a look inside of the author, raised in a West Indian home with all its beliefs and myths, how to unlearn instilled toxic generational cycles and relearn how to move to new levels in our lives. Simpson kept all the images and experiences of her growing up close. Her armor. The first-time author struggled with telling all of this in her book, but truly is a story, and Simpson reveals all of hers. Sexual abuse, rape experiences, surrounding by drugs and strippers, and various struggles within the Black community, and her struggle to escape repeated generational cycles passed down. Simpson readily admits her truth is not always pretty. Her old self would have worried about what people thought, but her new self believes that only the raw truth speaks to people, the truth you find through the growing and healing process, remembering no one takes the same route to get to the same place. I love that. That's all I'm going to read. Listen, what can you say about that? I'm going to stop talking. I want you to tell us about this book, and what was your motivation to writing this?
My motivation was generational cycles.
Generational cycles.
Yeah. And my children, because we see the cycle so much.
Right.
We connect with people, we build friendships, we build relationships.
Mm-hmm.
We find ourselves in the same cycles.
Come on.
With friends, like, if you're not healed, you're gonna attract things.
Woo.
That see that unhealed part of you.
Right.
So I was attracting friends that were unhealed, that went through the same things as me, but we didn't know that we went through the same thing as each other.
Right.
Right. So for me, it was okay when I moved out on my 19th birthday. I said, I'm leaving that all behind me. I'm gonna create a different,
come on,
cycle, pattern, family for myself, and I'm gonna break away from that, and I'm gonna pass it on. But then, when I realized that I didn't heal and I was still carrying those things with me, that's when I realized, wait, I didn't heal. And how do you heal? How do you break away from generational cycle? Nobody taught us how to do that. So we live in these patterns and pass down generational things that we don't realize is toxic.
Right.
And we keep progressing in life thinking that it's normal. Right.
Wow.
So then I I always tell the story of how I even decided that I always wanted to be a writer, but I never thought I had it in me. Right?
Oh, come on.
Everybody thinks that when you're a writer, you're supposed to speak a certain way. You're supposed to write a certain way. Your words are supposed to be big. Everything's supposed to be proper and be, that's what I thought. So I know a lot of people thought the same thing too. But I'm telling you, the way you say it, write it. Because somebody else out there just like you is going to receive it that way. And that's a breakthrough for them.
Wow.
So I remember I was at home and my son was turned 2, and my son's father had left his Facebook opened, and he was telling his cousin in a Facebook message, when I was younger, I used to like to snoop a little bit, and I saw a message that he was telling his cousin that he thinks he has another woman pregnant back home when he went on vacation.
Oh, okay.
And his cousin was telling him, basically there's nothing wrong with that. Keep it a secret. What she doesn't know won't hurt her, right? But I could tell in his message that he's like, no, this is not right. I should tell her, right?
Right.
So I was sitting there and I was angry, and I'm like, how do I approach this?
Wow.
And I started to replay things that I watched my mom go through. And people around me go through. And I was like, I'm reliving stuff that my parents already went through. And this is what I said I wasn't going to do.
Right.
So how do I approach this now?
How?
And I really had to talk to myself and ask myself questions first. Why are you so mad?
Why?
How is it affecting you? How are you going to approach him?
Right.
Because he's feeling away. And what I say to him is going to trigger him. And then something came to me: commitment to a deceitful liar. Because growing up, we're committed to so many lies. We carry it with us. I held on to so many things that I was taught when I was younger and believed it as an adult. For example, my stepfather used to say, all boys want from you is sex. Once them get the sex, I'm gonna leave you.
Right.
Once you get pregnant, your life is over.
Right.
And I believed those things for a long, long, long time, all the way into my adulthood.
Right.
And none of those things were actually true. That was just something that was instilled in them from they were young, and they carried it on and passed it on to us. So we believed those things. Because my life never ended when I had my son. Matter of fact, a lot of great things happened for me when I had my son. That motivated me to want to do better and go further for him.
Right.
When I was pregnant with my son, I didn't quit school. I didn't stop working. I worked. I went to school on my last day and my water broke. I never gave up.
Come on.
So it's a choice that we make.
Right.
But I believe that boys only. So every time when I got older, every time I heard a compliment about myself, it was always like, oh my God, my body. It was always my body.
Right.
So that's what you told me. So I thought that that's what they wanted, not realizing, no, that's not true. That's not what all men want.
Come on.
You transferred that onto me. So I carried that life. Commitment to a deceitful liar is not just about a relationship. It's about a lot of things in life. We walk around thinking, even when you hear it nowadays. If a girl's a stripper, she's a HOE.
Right.
Where she's no good and she's this and she's that, and people attach so many words to that person.
Right.
Why? What if she just really likes dancing, or she's doing it because nobody will give her a chance and she can't find a 9-to-5 like you, so she decides to do that, what she loves, make money, and then do something better with her life. Same thing with guys who go to jail. Automatically the system labels them that they're never going to be able to turn things around for themselves.
Right. Because
that's what we're told, right? Who told us that? Right. And why do we carry it with us?
Right.
And in the book, you'll see, like, in book number 2, actually, not in this book, but book number 2, you'll see how when you tell people that you've been raped, the labels that they give you and how they find reasons. Well, what did you do to make that happen?
Oh, yeah. Come on now.
That doesn't sound right. She's leaving out something out of the story, or he's leaving out something out of the story. Or believe me, when I opened up to somebody very close, that I told them what had happened to me. When there was an argument or something happened, I was being labeled a raper girl. So a raper girl, which rape a girl in the Jamaican term, they would say it like a raper girl. You're labeled as something that is no good. You've been raped before, so ew.
Ew.
But through understanding, they get it, right? Because nobody teaches them that. You hear things and you repeat it and you carry it and then you transfer it on to other people.
Come on, right?
Right?
Right.
Simple things like when I was growing up, I was raised I say West Indian home because West Indians, they raise their children a certain way and they expect you to follow the rules and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So for long, my mom, she never let us have sleepovers. She would always say, don't eat from people. That was the biggest thing. Don't eat from anybody.
Right.
And she would always make if we ate from somebody, something bad was going to happen to us.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, Jamaicans talk a lot about voodoo, abia.
Right.
You probably heard the word before. People say, oh, abia, which is voodoo, witchcraft, black magic, right? So she would always say, oh, don't eat from nobody. Then we'll do things to you. They will abia you, things like that. So I grew up I had a big trust problem because she always made it seem like you can't trust people.
Right.
So now when we had our kids, I said, I got to reverse that. I can't let my kids grow up not being able to trust people and live in fear.
Right. Yes. Right.
So when we moved to our new neighborhood, they met friends and friends were inviting them over for dinner. And I remember one time, one of the kids' mom had said, can the kids come over for dinner? And I said, yeah, sure. Why not? Usually I would cook, but I would ask the parents first, does your kids have any allergies or anything, or are you okay with them eating this? Or I'll just, most of the times I'll order food because I know kids will eat pizza or whatever the case may be, right? And the mom said, okay, I'm going to start making dinner, then I'll walk over for them. So I'm like, start making dinner. And for a second, something triggered me because I remembered what my mom used to say to me. Don't eat from anybody. And I called their dad and I said, hey, the neighbor said that she's going to be cooking dinner. How do you feel about that? And he said to me? He said, Jenelle, your life's deceit. Don't forget that.
Oh, wow.
We're changing generational cycles. And you taught me that. And he said, we're opening our kids to a new generation. Remember, you said that. He said, every time you remember what your mom used to do to you, revert back, new generation.
Come on.
If they don't like it, they're smart enough to say, sorry, I don't really like the taste of it. Is there anything else? We can't keep letting our kids fear everything.
Right.
Them toxic advice, because that's not true.
Woo!
We gotta allow them to figure things out for themselves too. And that's something that I was never allowed to do. So, Commitment to a Deceitful Hour, that's only the first part of the book that shows the background of me and things that I went through. And how we get to book number 2 and how we get to book number 3 with the abuse and meeting people in that world. And I'll tell you the truth, for a second when I met friends, I wanted to join the stripper world too, but I'm like, that wasn't for me.
Right.
Greater for me and wanted me to do something different.
Wow.
So there's a lot of layers.
Yes.
To all 3 books.
Now you have just changed it up for me, because when I was reading your bio, that's why it's good to read the book, because the bio does not tell it all. Like the bio had me thinking, oh, she went through all of this and she went through all of that, but it's like, it's just, unlearning things that you were taught as a child and just realizing that some of that stuff that we were taught, some of that stuff that we were told was wrong and it wasn't right. And then how do you turn that around so it does not affect you when you get older as a child, and so that you don't instill that same fear and that those words and things that was told to you? How can you change that up in your life so it can be productive and your children, not be affected like you were affected? Because it really stifles your growth. It really messes with your psyche, messes with your mind, and make it where it's hard to progress and move forward. And like you were saying about be mindful of the food that you're eating. I can relate to some of that. That's just amazing how, God has dealt with you and just say, well, there's different cycles to there's different levels to this and degrees, and I have this book for that, this book for this, and this book for that. And really what you're saying is, instead of me believing that I can do these things or I should do these things because that's the only thing that's out there, I'm just going to change this thing up and realize I can do other things. I don't have to resort to this because that's what they're saying. This is the only thing that's available right now. That I'm going to change I'm going to change it up. I'm not going to believe that that's it. And it's almost like,
and it's funny because even in the book, like you said, I went through most of those things. I did. And even with the abuse, like I was raised in an abusive home. And me and my brother are very close, and we never really talked about those things. And even me talking about in the book being raped for the longest time, I was wondering, when my brother picks up this book, how is he gonna feel about it? And I kept saying to myself, you know what, maybe I should pull this book back.
Okay.
Much, and I don't know if he can bear it, right? And I was so concerned about him, but he sent me, you know, within the last 2 months, he sent me so many messages saying, and the last message he sent me, he said, I'm so proud of you and what you're doing. He said, you are such a strong woman. If I ever have a daughter, I want her to be like you. And I was like, God, thank you for your reassurance, because I just wanted my brother to be proud of me. And I say it all the time, and I'm like, I wish that my mom had done that for me. Like, be that strong woman that I could replicate, but be greater than. I didn't have that. Because now that I'm writing this book, and I'm writing about the abuse, and I'm writing about the abuse that I already finished my second book, but writing about the abuse that I went through in a relationship, and I'm like, this is what I saw you go through, and you could have been strong enough for us and said, you know what, I don't want this for my kids, and I don't want my daughter to grow up and end up being in that cycle. She's still living in it. I'm like, and I hope that, you know, she'll pick up the book and it'll give her some type of strength. Like, if my daughter can do it, I'm strong enough to do it too.
Right. My God.
So it's
absolutely,
it's a lot.
That is a lot.
It's a very detailed book. I hope that everybody gravitates. I know some people might not, and some people will. But I do generally believe that if you can speak your truth, that's what's important. So many people are going through things that are afraid to say it. Because coming out of my mouth, I was molested, I was raped. Back in the day, I would never say it. Because I would look at myself like, why would you say that? You don't want anybody to look at you that way. You don't want anybody to know that about you. They're going to say you're gross. They're going to say you're nasty. But it's not about them.
Right.
God gave me this journey for other people. The people that are going to go through things that I went through, that need somebody to help them pull through and rise up from it. Not to worry about people and their judgments. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my!
And
changing,
you know, it's interesting. I was like, okay, because I had a publisher, and then I ended up ending my contract because I thought that going with the publishing company was a great idea. Because everybody's like, oh, when you have a publisher behind you, it sounds good, it looks good. And I'm like, where did that come from? Why do I need a publisher behind me for my book to go out there? That's not true. And I end up saying, you know what, you guys really don't care. You're not putting attention to what you said you were going to do. So I went self-publishing, and McKinney helped me really, really good, and I'm happy. And she was telling me, you know, it's going to take a while to get the copy of the books. And to be honest, I think it was, what day was it? Tuesday? I got a copy of the soft copy so far. And
wow.
I know you can't really see it. It's so shiny.
Right. I see.
I've been going through it, and it's so beautiful. I can't wait for people to get their copy.
Come on. I'm ready for mine.
So I'm like, look at God pulling through. Because we were expecting weeks, and we ordered it last week, and it was ready here. So God's doing something.
I'm telling you, like, I mean, it's just I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I'm glad that you pushed through. And you said, like you said, my brother was my concern because I didn't want to put him out there, or, I didn't want him to feel some kind of way. And then he came back and said, I'm proud of you. So it was like, in a sense, it was release for him too. And was it therapeutic with you writing it? Did you find any healing, feeling better, or feel like you can breathe and you don't feel that tension? How did it feel?
God. Can I tell you that writing this book, I did not know that writing this was gonna heal me on levels that I didn't even know.
Right.
That I needed. Writing this book gave me like a refreshing feeling. Like when I do that deep breath, that's like when I wrote it.
Right.
I feel so good. I feel great writing it. It felt good. And then after that, I did a mini healing journal, which is also coming out with this. It's called Processing, Healing, Flourishing. It's personal workbook. Because healing is not easy.
Right.
It's a routine. You're not gonna do the same thing every day to heal. Some days you're gonna get up mad. Some days you're gonna get up frustrated. Some days you're gonna be tired. Some days you're gonna be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna live my life and be whatever, and stray away from God's purpose.
Tell the truth.
Sometimes you're gonna shut that voice off and be like, God, I don't want to hear you. You don't know what I'm feeling. Do you know what I'm feeling? If you know what I'm feeling, then why am I going through this?
Come on.
So healing's not easy. It's a lot. Jesus. So I'm like, you know what? I wrote this book, and this book is me unraveling the pain and trauma. And then the healing book is start. It's your starter. It's your little guide. It's not easy. It may even take years, because sometimes you don't even want to take off those layers. You rather keep the unhealed layers on so you don't have to face yourself. And facing ourselves is the hardest part.
Right.
So this book gave me so many great feelings. That was the best part, writing it.
I am so speechless. You are so raw. You are so pure. You're so authentic, real. You're honest. And you're honest about your story, and a lot of people are going to be healed from it. And hearing your story, it's going to motivate a lot of people to move forward and write a book as well. Because you started out saying, you were saying, to me, that it doesn't matter, how you speak, how you talk, write it the way it comes out, and and not try to put all those big words in it. That is so motivational for people, like myself, or for others that say, I don't have these large words. I don't, know how to do all this and that and the third. I don't, just be yourself, and you're going to the right people are going to gravitate to your book and say, this book was so authentic, so simplified, so simple to read, easy to read. I could relate to it, and I just love how it just didn't have those big words in it, and it didn't throw me off, because not everybody can.
And that was honestly, I wanted to write this book for so many years now, and that was my biggest concern, was that, how am I gonna write this? You gotta go and research all these big words, girl. Author, you know what an author is? And then I'm like, I was at work one day, and I literally I don't know what it was. It was almost like God just pushed me and said, here, put your finger on the keyboard and start typing. And I just started typing. So I'm like, somebody's going to receive it the way that they're supposed to receive it.
Right.
Listen, every message reaches somebody in that way because it was meant to reach them in that way. We're not all meant to speak the same. We're not all meant to walk the same. We're not all meant to look the same. So I wanted it to be, like you said, simple, easy for somebody to read, to relate to, and be able to feel. I didn't want the rawness to be gone. I wanted you to feel it.
Right.
Because what we go through is, we carry these emotions. It's a feeling. When you relive something traumatic that you've been through, you feel it, and you're like,
right.
She's like, it just makes you mad and emotional all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want anybody. I didn't want this to be like, get mad. It's, oh my God, I've been through it. I feel like I can breathe and shake and write it. Write it down, even if it's a couple of pages. Read it back to yourself, publish it. Somebody's going to pick it up and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, those words just spoke to me. And I can relate to it. It spoke to me in my way.
Right.
not a way that I got to go look up the words and be like, what does this mean?
That is just amazing. Like, I'm telling you, it is an inspiration for those that take out their time and actually read it and just be able to see, how it resonates to them, and for them to move forward, and it will help them to heal. That's why I got to get that book. I have to get that book so I can read it, so that I can read the story. I can read your life story to see what you experienced and what you got out of it, and I know that when you wrote this book, you was talking about all of the things that you experienced in life. Tell me, like, when the healing part started. I know you said it started, when you started writing the book. But when you got to that place where you said, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to be serious about it, I'm going to do it. Did something happen, or you just had a made up mind, or did you know that you was going to go through all that? Like, tell me, how do you get to that point? You just pushed through and started writing this book, and was there any motivation behind it? Like, what was your motivation? I'll say that. What was your motivation behind writing the book, actually putting it out? What was the one thing that you, when you wrote, what was you wanted to do with it when you wrote it?
Let me say first that when God wants you to do something, he'll make you uncomfortable in all aspects of your life. So I was uncomfortable at work. I'm a star at work, but I was uncomfortable at work. I was unhappy. I didn't want to go there no more. I was like, everything was just bad. Things were just happening weird. And I'm like, what's going on here? Right? Like, what's going on? I'm great at my job. There's just one thing my boss tells people, she's like, she's my star. Anything that needs to get done, she gets it done right away. But everything was like, I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to do it anymore. And my motivation was, to be honest with you, my mother. And that's what triggered me the most. Because for years I was like, you know what? Even with my son, when I had my son, I was like, you're not meeting my son unless you make a choice to try to change.
Come on. Wow.
I didn't want you to give my son anything that I didn't want him to have. Don't give my son any lessons I don't want him to have. Don't give my son any mental states I don't want him to have.
Jesus.
My son is okay. So for example, one time I had to literally ask him, were you ever touched and I don't know about it?
Right.
Because listen, don't smack his butt for a joke. He doesn't like it. Don't rub his leg a certain way. He doesn't like it. And then I was like, wait, this is actually normal and right. Because nobody's supposed to smack a child's bum or touch a child's bum or anybody's bum. Because that is really a form of assault. Squeezing his legs, he doesn't like it. He tells you it makes him feel away. Don't rub it. Don't do
right.
So there were certain things that she would say, and I'm like, you're a grandma. Like, for example, one day my daughter's 7 and we were there and she says to my daughter, you look a sketel. So sketel is a Jamaican term for you little slut. Right? So me and my brother looked at her and my brother first said, are you crazy? Did you think about what you just said? And I said, what's wrong with you? She's like, I'm just joking with her. Shh. But her way of playing with my children is not right. It's inappropriate. You're crossing lines.
Right.
Very inappropriate.
That part. Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes, ma'am.
Because that's the way that she was raised and she thinks it's okay. So now, because you think it's okay.
Right. Because you think.
Now you're doing it to my children. And I realized that she was doing some things, and I was at work and I'm sitting and I'm like, God, what do I do? I love my mother to death, regardless of what we've been through, what she's done to me. I love her. Because what she's been through, I don't know about it, but I know she's been through something. And I know that she's deeply hurt by something.
Right.
And there was one day and she wanted me to be okay with something. And I said, no, I can't be okay with something because you're okay with it. I know better. I educated myself, I researched, and I worked on myself, and I built a relationship with God, so I know what's not right. And I'm trying to change generational cycles, and I can't do that while you're trying to reverse how I raise my children and who I'm allowing them to be on their own. And I was at work and I was sitting there, I was listening to my music, and like I said, something just jogged to me and said, start writing. And I literally just started writing because I felt like I needed to unpack and release what I've been holding on.
Powerful.
Because I thought I healed because, I said, you know what, God, I understand. I even placed myself in my molester's shoes.
Right.
In order
to understand.
Heal. To understand.
Right, to understand why, yeah.
Right. And I forgave him genuinely. But I didn't realize that there were still some more layers that needed to come off.
Right.
And the book was what God wanted me to do to help me get there. That's why I say we heal in different ways, different layers, different stages.
Right.
The book was one of my stages that God wanted me to go through because I was ashamed to even say it out loud. So at one point in my life, I was making it seem like it never happened, or it was my fault. So
yeah,
never talk about it because it's your fault. You caused it on yourself. Pretend like it never happened. Don't ever talk about it.
Right.
So
the enemy wanted you silenced.
Right.
Wanted you not to talk, not to share, not to reveal, not to open up, not to expose. My God.
So many things going on now, and I feel like God wanted me to write in this season and not before, because he wanted me to do my internal work and he needed to work on me. Right. Let me tell you something. If God didn't get me here, I wouldn't be on here with you.
Right.
I was shy.
Right. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell.
I was shy. I wouldn't do it. I would dodge it. I would literally dodge it. God's like, no, you got it. You're the face.
It's time to come out. Right.
You are purpose. You are assignment. You are what I need for people to see and feel like they shouldn't be ashamed to say what happened to them.
Right.
And you see it now, like in the media, people are always saying, well, this happened, but the woman provoked or the boy provoked. And you see so many, even in the islands, Jamaica, so many little girls, they keep quiet. Even when it's their mom's grown man friend that's molesting, they keep quiet because either their mom tells them, well, we need a little bit of money to take care of bills and don't say anything. Or even moms that get mad at their daughters when they know what's going on, but they're blaming their child for it. How do you handle it? How do you handle that? How do you move on? How do you forgive your mother for saying, if you get my brother in trouble, you're not my child, you're a slut, you're a whore, pack up your things and move out of my house? How do you forgive a mother that says that? And I am forgiveness, so I want to show people what forgiveness looks like. And that's what God taught me.
Wow.
Forgiveness is not easy. But why hold on to that animosity and hate? For what reason? When God wants you to use what you've been through to flourish. That's why I called the book Processing, Healing, Flourishing. Because you got to process what you've been through. And then allow yourself to accept it, heal, and then flourish. Because God's going to use that to prosper you. He will never use it to bring you down, but to elevate you in some way.
Come on.
I want other people to see that no matter what you've been through, no matter what it is, who you are, what your name is, who you're attached to or who you were attached to. We're always separate, and God has a separate plan for us, no matter who we're attached to or what we've been.
Right.
So this is a journey that I'm learning to love.
Come on.
When I see my kids and how happy they are, like I heard my daughter on her Zoom class today, and she's like, her teacher said, "What are you excited about for the holidays?" Like she said, "We're having a Christmas party at my house, and my mom wrote a book." I was getting there. I'm like, okay. And her teacher's like, to the other she's like, did you know that? Did you know Lane's a book? And she's like, no. So when I see my kids proud of me, I already know it. I started something great. When I see my son, because I write my own quotes. So my son, I see him writing quotes, and I'm like, you wrote that? Why'd you do that? He's like, because I see you doing it and I like it. I said, you like it or you do it because you want it? He's like, no, I like it. I like to make people smile. And he said he did an assignment and he wrote that, so you had to do your own like symbol or sign, and he drew a lion's head and a star. So you have to explain why you drew the lion's head and the star. And he said, I drew a lion's head from my mom because she's as strong and courageous as a lion. And she always tells me, be who you are no matter what.
My God.
And I said, wow, I never even knew you thought of me in that way.
Right.
And that showed me that I already started changing generational cycles.
Come on.
Because they're young and they're the younger generation. They're going to pass it on.
Right.
We can't leave them out when we're changing cycles. Because they're seeing so much happening around them. They don't even know what direction to go in anymore. We got to give them something stronger, something bigger, greater. And not force things down their throat.
Right.
Give them options. Let them make their choices and grow and make decisions and learn and unlearn. It's perfectly fine. That's the only way we're going to grow, is if we learn things and then we unlearn and we learn new ways. There's so many things that you hear, honestly, Jamaicans, like, they used to say, sorry, this is not to discriminate at all. But this is something that they've said, Bana Batiman. And they discriminate against gays. But now you see a whole new horizon opening up, where we're learning to understand and accept and appreciate and love genuinely for everybody. Because, trust me, when I get into book number 3 and tell you things I've been through in church.
Right.
And God is love. And we don't own God. We can't tell God who to love.
Right.
We can't tell God who to accept. But I find that, when I was going to church, it's almost like you guys speak love, but your actions show hate.
Right.
God is love and always will be love, no matter what. No matter who you are, no matter what your preferences are, your sexual orientation, God is love. This is something that people need to know, because a lot of people, they stray away from God thinking that God's a hateful man, and he's not. Hateful spirit, he's not. He's love. He may not like our actions and the things that we do, but he loves us.
Right.
And I've been there in church, and I think about it now, and I say things that have been said to me. People are like, oh, people always say, oh no, you're lying. No. And I'm like, what? Believe me, I would love to say that I'm lying. Some of the things that I heard, and people said to me in church. No man's gonna, if my children's father leave me, no man's gonna want me with 2 kids. Believe me.
Oh wow.
Children are beautiful, and they're ordained by God. And even if I was single and God wanted me to be married to somebody, God will make sure that he loves my kids. He has to love my kids more than me. because that's me. They're me. Our kids are
Right.
us. So there's a lot of things that were said, and I'm like, oh my goodness, wow. But you see, you got to know God for yourself.
Right.
When you don't know God for yourself, you're gonna listen to these things that are being thrown at you, and then you're gonna go left instead of spending time with Him. Like, God, I know you, and this can't be of you. So we got to learn how to build a strong relationship with God on our own, and not just follow everything we hear from other people.
Right.
So yeah, it's a journey, and I'm enjoying it. I got a lot of work to do. But,
right.
Right. Each step, I'll get there.
Oh my goodness, you're so phenomenal. Like I don't know what to call it. I mean, you're just so phenomenal. I pray that you continue this journey and you get the rest of those books out. So how do we go about purchasing your book? Where can we go to get your book? Because I need to get mine.
So they're available for pre-order. So far they're available for pre-order on Barnes and Noble and Amazon. When the rest of the links come in, I'm gonna post it on my website, which is finally up.
Okay.
And it's just www.JenelleSimpson.com. And you can just click on the links there. You can also purchase the books on the website, but I prefer if people just go to the links and purchase it from Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and the other links that will be there.
That is awesome. So I'm going to make sure that I go and pre-order my book, because I'm excited to see how God uses you. You have used you in this book and all your other phenomenal books. And this has been a beautiful interview. Like, I mean, this is one of my best interviews I've had.
Really?
And I want to tell you, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I just love how authentic and real that you were, and how you have blessed my soul by just talking about it. It's just an inspiration. I can tell that those who, when they listen to this video and look at it, it's going to bless them. I know that's going to bless them. By just, motivating and encouraging them to move forward, it is going to bless their soul. And to think that, hey, I'm not the only one that went through, and finally someone wrote a book that was young and that can help me to understand what I went through, and, and talk about it. I wish you were somewhere nearby where I could get you to come when we host a conference or workshop. You can tell your story.
Listen, we're going to do that. We are going to do that, because oh my gosh, I want to do it so bad over there. You have to send me an email and let's make something work. We're going to do it. We're going to have a big event over there. We're going to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Are you serious? Oh,
I'm
my goodness.
110% serious.
Okay. Yes, we definitely are going to have to. We're going to have to connect.
Yeah. Let me give you my email.
So we're going to go ahead and end this. We'll go ahead and end this part of it. We're going to. So thank you all for listening. This has been a blessing and a joy. And we have Jenelle Simpson that has gotten on here and poured out her heart and her soul to us. And it has been a joy and a blessing. Thank you so much, Miss Jenelle, for doing that. I bless you, God. I bless God for you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for getting on. And so we've ended this part. Thank you all for listening in and tuning in. God bless you. Have a great day. Okay. Okay, so for now, for you and I, honey, we need to be connected.
I know, because you know what's funny? Honestly, Americans, I love you guys so much. You guys have been my biggest support, so genuine. I need to come over there, okay?
Listen.
Said the same thing. She's like, would you be willing to come over here and like do a workshop, a shelter or something? And I'm like, yes. But it's funny because somebody said to me, like, it's hard, like after I'm done with Sasha, it's hard to connect again unless I rehire Sasha. So take my email, my number, let's do something.
Right, because I don't know how else I can get in touch with you after Sasha, because she be on it now. She do her job now. She be on it. So yeah. So I'm glad you said something.
I'm thinking about, I'm like, how am I gonna get everybody else's contact number? I gotta find them. I gotta go look back at my list and go on Instagram and go message them.
Right. So okay, so what's your email address?
It's info.
INFO.
Yep, at Jenelle Simpson, JENELLE Simpson SIMPSON.com.
Okay, so it's your name.
Yep.
Info at Jenelle Simpson.com.
Yep.
JANELLE.
JE. All E's. JENE.
Oh, JE. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I seen that. I just caught that. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say. I am just like.
I was honest. There's a guy that messaged me on Instagram as well, and we had a conversation for about an hour and a half. And he's like, you should move to America. And I'm like, it's funny. I usually stay up late, and like, I'm an overthinker. I'm a Libra. So I overthink, and I write, and I think about stuff, and I'm like, God, I know I should do this. I should do that. And I'm like, what if I move to America for a little bit? And then when he said it, I was like, I thought about that before. But then I realized that, hey, this guy is he's looking me, because the other day he messaged me and he's like, good morning, beautiful. And I'm like, were you trying to connect on a business level? Or were you like, And then he commented on one of my pictures, and he's like, because I had posted a video saying, when I was younger, I used to hate my full lips. I used to say I need to chop down these big lips, because they used to kill us over our big lips and say, oh, our lips are so huge, but our lips are beautiful. Right? So he commented and said, and they're luscious too. And I'm like,
oh goodness,
come on, man, like
come on, this is not business here.
I thought you wanted to connect on a business level.
No, he's no on a business level. You try, no, don't do that. Like, if we on a business level, are you trying something else? Like, I need you to, like, right? We can't mix business with pleasure. Like, let's not do that. It's not stop like that. No, stay professional.
So you reached out for my number to connect on business, and you like just ruined it for me.
Right? No, we can't do this. We can't even work like this.
I'm not interested.
Oh, that's the part right there. He's trying. Oh my goodness, I cannot with people. These men.
There's another lady it's from a magazine. I cannot remember it, but oh my gosh, please, if we could do something over there, I would love that.
Well, I have your information here. Do you have I'm gonna give you my email address. Let me give you my stuff.
I will message you tonight. Yeah. I know somebody, I went to another interview, and the girl started crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not, I always do it, and I'm like, this is not what I was supposed to do.
And she started crying.
She started crying, and she's like, I need to get your number. And they were like, I know I can't get it through Sasha. And I'm like, okay. But I get it, right? Money talks,
Listen, Sasha will lock it down. You cannot, in no way. No, she had, told me about what happened, because we supposed to have connected a few weeks ago. And I said, okay, I said, I don't care when she's ready. I'll be ready when she's ready. I'll be, available. So I give her time, and when she gets to that place where she feels better and feels like doing it, I'm okay with that. I'm going to take my time. Because you was the very first person that she had sent me to, and I wanted to, I was like, I don't care. I'm going to wait for her, and she came back and she said that you were ready. I was like, oh,
yeah, because you know what? She didn't call me. And then I'm like, wait, there's supposed to be we had a contract, 10 interviews or whatever, but there was only like, I think at the time it was only 2 that happened. And she's like, well, no. And I'm like, no, I never did Newbie and Queen. I never did this. I never did that. And she's like, oh, well, I thought you did. And I'm like, no. So she's like, okay, I'll tell them that you're ready again. And I'm like, okay, I thought you were supposed to give me a new date anyways, but okay.
Sasha, I'm telling Sasha, she is on. Oh, you on Facebook as well?
No, just Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, well, I can look you. I can look you.
I think you know what? Your face looks familiar. You added me today?
I probably did. On Facebook, on Instagram.
The Yolanda Mitchell, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I followed you back on, I think it was both page actually. Hold on. Because I looked at your page and I'm like, who is this beautiful woman? And I honestly, I didn't know it was you. Until now I'm looking at your face, I'm like, it's her.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm in the blue dress.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is you, right? Right here.
Yep, and my other page as well. I added you on my other one.
Oh goodness.
Life's Deceit.
And what is it called again?
Life's Deceit. LIFES _ deceit. Yep.
I'm following you there too.
See, I know I saw that.
Oh my goodness. Like, oh my, how did that happen?
I don't know, maybe you saw me somewhere. I don't know.
You know what? I was reading your stuff.
Were you?
I remember reading your stuff today. I don't know. I was just reading your stuff and I was like, she's just awesome. And I was like, I wonder if I can get this up and say this stuff. I said, let me talk to her first. Let me have the interview first. Before I get on her stuff and just start saving it. Because I was just in that, and I love how you did it. And then you make sure that you have your signature in there. So don't steal my stuff.
Listen, my friend, honestly, before I used to be like, God, why do I have friends and something always happens or they just fall off?
Yeah.
I had to get used to that, where God said, listen, the friends I'm giving you, they can't be just no ordinary friends. So you see these ones that you're just walking around and picking up and being so naive with, girl, I'm gonna let them fall off because they're not meant to go on your journey with you.
Ooh. My
one friend, I met her in college, and she's the one that pushed me to do this. Because when I first started, I'm like, girl, ain't nobody gonna read my quotes. No one's gonna read what I'm saying. And she's like, you gotta network, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And
right, come on, friend.
She's the one that like pushed me out, and she's like, did you copyright yet? Did you trademark yet? So I copyright, I did my trademark, and she's like, there you go. And I'm like, what would I do without you, friend? What would I do without you? I've never met a friend so genuine in my life. And she asks for nothing in return.
Come on.
I don't know. God really, he has done some things.
Now I'm telling you, I'm telling you like this, I had said like 2 years ago, I wanted to do a magazine. I was like, oh, y'all, I was like, Newbie Queen's gonna have a magazine. I said about a year or two ago. Yep. And I met this lady on Facebook, and she, my mentor, and she was like, I would like to permit you inside of my magazine. And I was like, who am I? To be inside your magazine, although I have a women's empowerment, it wasn't going, like I wanted to go because of COVID. So, some things we just couldn't do anymore. And so I was like, who am I for her to decide to get me? Because in her magazine, she has celebrities on the front cover. And so I was like, and I was like, who am I to be inside of the magazine? So I was like, okay, yeah, like it's my time, it's my season. Yes, God. So right. Like, I need a professional picture. I need this and I need that. Honey, I was in that stuff in like right there because God had already told me, months prior, get your professional photos done. Make sure you keep those professional photos up to date. Make sure you get your bio done. So when she asked me that, honey, I said that stuff in the same day because God, I was prepared, honey. Be prepared, so don't forget prepared. And then she was like, I have a a billboard opportunity. And so, honey, so I was like, I need you to help me with my magazine. And so she was like, I will help you with it. She's from the island. She has a beautiful voice. She's like, I will help you with your magazine. I will do the, and she's just phenomenal. So it is great to have people in your corner that push you to do better. And when I think she sent me Sasha's stuff, or either I ended up going on Instagram and meeting up with Sasha some kind of way, and Sasha responded back to me, which is a blessing. And to have you here talking with you was just so phenomenal. I mean, it took a lot for me to come, to keep my composure and not cry when you were talking. I mean, I just felt like, oh my God, I was very uncomfortable, and just listening to you, I just having to hold in my tears, just having to just get to that place of not crying, but just, be professional, be professional and have the interview and not cry. But oh my goodness, how can someone not? I mean, oh my goodness. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I would love to have her. Like, we got to find a way to get someone like her that could come in and speak. Like, how do we do that? Like, oh my God, like, God, we got to do that. Because we've been talking, with our ladies about women that have been through something in life. We was talking just last night. How can we have, people to come in, guests to come in? We got to find a way to do something and take it up a notch. And just to have you to say the same thing. And you
that's what I want, to take it up a notch. So people can feel it. Like you listen, I've seen so many life coaches. I've seen people, and I yes, you connect with them, right?
Right.
But it's the authenticness that people leave out. The natural connection. Every time I speak to somebody, even when, like I said, when I was praying, I said to God, I said, be my words, be my thoughts. Let it flow through me the way that it's supposed to flow through me. I don't have a script. I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Right.
When you ask me a question, I'm just like, okay, this is my honesty. This is the truth. This is what it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what helps people. Because nobody wants to hear your pretty story that, I started out this way and then here I am now. Because no.
Right.
Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I still question, God, am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wonder what's gonna happen tomorrow. It's life, and life is real, raw, authentic.
Oh my!
But
I'm just.
I would love to come over there. I would love to connect with you and stand with you. I never say, I don't like to say, like, be with you, or because I feel like it's piggyback. I like to say, stand with you. Align with you, because we're doing it together. There's no you doing it and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm piggybacking on you or just standing beside you. No, we're doing it together. Because a wholeness, right? Where people will feel that and they'll be like, okay, this is actually real authentic women that are trying to do something great and help us. It's not just a pick up and drop me off type of thing.
Right.
So if we could brainstorm something.
Right.
Listen, let's make it big. We're not going mediocre. God said go big. We're going big.
Oh my goodness.
And he's not going to fail you.
This is divine. I'm because while you're talking, I'm trying to figure out what date did we say we was going to have our first gathering, first conference. And I'm just trying to figure out what date it was. So I'm gonna have to get back with them and find out exactly what date, because I'm like, we got to figure out. I know with the flights and things like that, it is rough, having to have so much to do, to fly here and stuff like that. And I know that, we have to plan some things, because I know it's, a lot of planning involved with having a guest to come in, and we got it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like, I am just I'm glad you said yes. So now
let's start an earthquake, girl. Let's start that flow where people are going to jump and be like, I'm going to change. I could do something. We gotta, we're women of color. We're people of color. We got to start turning stones, real stones, because our ancestors didn't do this for no reason. And we can't just leave this earth and leave broken pieces for our children's children to be trying to glue together. Let's leave solid stones for them to pick up and carry. That's what I want. I don't like the whole trying to piece. Let's not leave them piecing things together.
Right.
So believe me, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what God did in me, but He's doing something, and
right.
I'm running
Oh my
with what
goodness,
He's telling me to
I
do.
can't stop smiling. I've been smiling this whole time, and my muscles, like, I don't even know how to relax. So I'm like, I don't know, I can't stop smiling. Like,
Yolanda,
yeah.
Your name's powerful.
Yes, that's what it means, or is that just what you're saying?
Telling you, your name's powerful. You are powerful.
Oh, well, thank you.
There's great things in you that will always be in you.
Right, absolutely. Thank you.
Stand on Yolanda. Stand on that name. That name is powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would.
That's what
keep that in mind.
It's funny because the last lady I spoke to, I was telling her something, she's like, "Oh my God!" And she started breaking down. I move in the spirit.
Yes. Yes.
You have to. If you're not obedient, you're leaving somebody without something God wanted you to give them. Yolanda is a powerful name. Stand on Yolanda.
Stand on Yolanda.
And that's exactly what I get in my spirit, that you should stand on that name.
I will.
Because you are a strong tower.
Yeah, come on. Thank you.
Don't ever forget that.
I will not.
Yolanda. Your name's gonna reap in this earth.
Come on.
There's power in your name.
Well, look forward to it, because I'm telling you, I'm not going to stop. And I love stuff like this. Like, I love collaborating. I love helping people, putting people out there. I love it. Like, I mean, I can't help it. I can't help it. I mean, I love talking about people, what they're doing. So whenever this, magazine is being launched, it's going to be launched in April. So it's going to be in the springtime. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put you in on it. So I think because you're going to be inside the magazine. So I'm going to have it probably sometime in April, but I'll be sending something out to you. And so I'm going to be needing like a professional picture and, yes, ma'am, in your bio, and you can email me. You can email it to me, but I would go about it the proper way and send the email and that to Miss Sasha, so that she can make sure that you get the email and to send me the professional picture and your bio and the name of the photographer. But I'll have that email, so Miss Sasha, I have it too. Okay. So thank you, Miss Jenelle. I appreciate you so much. God bless you.
It was so great meeting you.
Yes, ma'am. You have a good night. Take care of yourself.
You too. Enjoy your weekend.
I will. You too.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe, and press the bell button.